full screen, huh?
Yes, full screen.
Okay, let me introduce my friend Sujit Kumar. We both have the same name. We have worked on the same accounts and
strategy. He won that account because of that strategy. You know, I was able to catch my train because the strategy is the most abused word. We use it a lot, but we don't know when to use it. When to attention, interest, desire, and action. It's gone. It's gone completely. Everything has changed. Everybody is connected to digital. Everybody has a device in her hand, and they are making decisions then and there. So everything has changed. Buying journey is completely not linear. There are multiple touches. And what is important for a brand is you have to be where the buyer is ready, when the buyer is ready. Having understood that, what exactly I mean by span of digital, and what is the golden content triangle. We discussed about content is really important and what it needs to cover, and you need to be ready with that. So what is the span of digital? We do a lot of paid media, right? Paid media like Facebook you were doing, that comes on the Facebook. The website that we have, it comes on the own. But when we do that, we have to make sure we earn the media, right? What are the blogs being written about? How are you going to manage your own, and how are you going to generate a lot of user-generated content? So that's going to be earned. Coming to the content readiness, now that we understood how important content is, because marketing we understood, right? We understood that marketing is not about telling what you are all about. It's about the stories, right? If you're not able to create meaningful stories, and if you're not able to connect with your audience, it's useless. People are going to just scrap you off. So whenever you are planning a content, right, you have to get your content ready. What are the 4 things that you need to definitely be aware of? You have to be aware of the category truth. Where do you stand? What the category being spoken about? What is happening in the category? If you don't know, you can't write a content about it, right? Like you're doing some content for Hinware. You know how the category is functioning. You should know a lot of insight. You should know the category truth. Who is the consumer you're targeting? What is the persona of the consumer? Will he be interested in the content that you're writing? Will he not be interested in the content? So you have to understand and measure that. What is the buyer journey? Where does the content fit in? Is it going to an exploration phase? Is it going to an evaluation phase? You need to figure the content where it fits. And what is your brand's ability? Are you going to stand for what you're speaking? That's something that's really important when you're planning the content. I've also plotted a bit of a content quadrant to make you understand, right, what kind of content is important and where it needs to go. Like you see that there are 4 quadrants. From low to high, from engaging to informative. We have seen a lot of people jumping onto sponsorship, right? Sponsor the IPL, will get our big logo. Is it engaging? Not really, right? You're spending a lot of money to do a viral campaign, but is it sustained viral? I'll just give you an example. Everybody would have heard about Sir Richard Branson, right? Every time he comes in front of the press or he launches a campaign, he makes sure that people are surprised, and it goes viral, right? You have to surprise your customer. If you're not going to surprise them, you're not going to be, you're losing the brand custodian there. The brand custodian emerges from, if you're going to engage with the audience. If you're not engaging with the audience, you're losing a lot of custodian there, the evangelism there, and you need to disrupt. You need to disrupt the status quo. If you're not disrupting the status quo, if you're not engaging, then you're losing. I'm saying that. At the same time, information is not bad, right? You either would be making a product pitch, a product demo, a case study. These are equally important. When it comes to a high value product like say a car or a villa or a B2B product demos make a lot of sense. Case study makes a lot of sense. Product pitch makes a lot of sense. These are highly informative and they are used for informed personal decision. So I've just put together the content quadrant to let you know that what kind of content can fit in. Having understood
move the camera. Yeah, please.
Having understood what content is all about, having understood why content is important, Sai is going to talk a lot more about it for sure. Come to context, right? Context is definitely important because that's where you're going to make your strategy work. Hint is get the context right. So now I'm coming to the big word. Any questions till now? I can take them. Feel free to ask. I've shown you the content quadrant, I've shown you the different pillars of content, what needs to be ready, when it needs to be ready. Okay, so I'll move on. So strategy, as I said, is a big word, right? We're abusing it to the core, we are not using it in the right context. but it's really, really important. So what exactly is strategy and how do we define it? So strategy comes from clear, sharp focus on getting things right. It's not a half-hearted effort. It's not about doing something without knowing something. If you don't know something, don't attempt it. Know it first. Know the market first. Know your customer first. Know the product first. Know your entire category first. Don't do a half-hearted effort. So getting things right is the core of forming a strategy. It's always a long-term plan and putting the long-term plan into action. Right? You can make a big strategy, but if you're not able to put it in action, no use about it. It needs to be put into action. It needs to get you the result. That's what the strategy is all about. So I've summarized the meaning of strategy in a simple slide. I'm not hiding behind jargons here. So if you have any clarifications to be done, please feel free to ask. Anytime you can stop me. Okay, moving on. Whenever you're forming a strategy, there needs to be a few questions that you need to answer. What needs to be done, why it needs to be done, and how it needs to be done. There are really three basic questions that you need to ask yourself. And what these questions will get you, what will get you is either there is an opportunity or problem lies which can help you, answer and get some business out of it, right? Why should define why there is a need of addressing that problem or addressing that opportunity. So you address that why. How should define what are the tactics that you're going to deploy over there. So if you're going to deploy certain tactics over there, that should be measurable. And there are like tactics, small strategies broken down into tactics, and each of the tactics needs to be measurable to lead to the strategy funnel, right? And it needs to have a specific end. I've given a small example also, right? You want to do persona targeting. Everybody wants to target a different persona. Why you would want to do it? You would want to do it because distinct personalities have very different needs. I can buy a Honda City car. You can buy a Honda City car. But the reason I will buy, the reason you will buy, will be completely different, right? We might be buying the same product, but it differs when our needs are completely different. I cannot be targeting you and me with the same content. I will not be able to do the justice out there, right? So I've answered the why. How, right? Then I have to give you a different experience. Understanding your need, understanding my need, I have to give you a different experience. I have to get different experience for me, right? So that's what a tactic is, right? So the tactic, it could be in the form of a informative video, it could be in the form of a display banner, it could be in the form of a retargeting, it could be in the form of a hyper-local targeting. There are different tactics which are there. But to understand, you also need to understand that these things used to be measurable. If you're not able to measure the tactics, forget it. You're not going to give it any result. Moving on, if I'm going too fast, you can stop me.
Yeah.
I'm okay. Any questions till now? Okay, coming to customer journey and the technology readiness, right? There are three basic phases when it comes to digital. People are either exploring, do I need this car? Do I need this machine? Do I need this laptop? Or people are considering it. And once they have considered, they have established the need, they move to evaluation. There are different tactics which can fit into. You'll see in exploration, I put content, I put display, I put programmatic, I put video. Right? When it comes to consideration, people are searching. Then it goes to search, social, programmatic, and retargeting. When it comes to evaluation, I'm giving them competitive content. When it comes to evaluation, I'm giving them very exclusive content which is meant for that particular user at a particular time. If that guy is still not converting, I put them into nurturing funnel. So that over a period of time, they convert. I'm not going to leave any persona out of my bucket. Anybody visiting your website is a potential customer, either today or 10 years down the line. Never lose on that data. Engage them. Keep talking to them. Understand how you're going to capture that data. The technology readiness is really, really important. Any questions here?
I have something to say.
You can even ask me.
No, as a continue, I'll tell you.
I'm sorry?
As a continue, I'll tell you.
Okay.
It's just bubbling me.
Okay, sure. Yes, I've given a small example, right? There are two scenarios when it comes to a digital journey. Either it's pre-click or it's post-click. Pre-click when you are targeting a customer. Post-click when he has either clicked or he has clicked and landed to your site. Right? So what happens then, right? You're targeting a particular persona you're targeting a placement. Where do you want to target it? It could be Facebook, it could be Times of India, it could be NDTV, it could be Google. There are different placements which are available. You're targeting them through impressions. Once you're targeting them, you serve an impression to them, right? And you also track that impression is visible or not. A lot of the time when the impressions are served, they're not visible. You have to make sure the impressions are visible, otherwise you'll be wasting money and nobody is able to see that. Once that happens, this is your pre-click journey. After that, a person clicks on an ad, comes to the website, he visits the website. He spends the time, he looks through the content, either he bounces or he converts. He fills up the form, or he calls the customer care, or he's filling up a customer journey form. So various actions he can take. So that is basically conversion, what I mean by it. So this is your post-click, right? And if a person is bouncing back, he is not converted, he is not performed as very specific action, we are going to retarget them. So we are bringing them back to the persona mapping and retargeting them and bringing them back to our website. So we are not leaving anybody. So I'll give you another example, right? If a client says and comes back and says that I'm focused on conversion, my digital campaign needs to give me conversion, otherwise I will not consider it successful. I don't want 10,000 people clicking on my banner. I want how many people have actually filled up my form. Typical scenario. What happens in that case where conversion is really important for you? What kind of campaigns you can run, what kind of triggers you need to look out for, what kind of things you need to look out for on your digital. So that brings to something which is really important, is target intent. Whenever your goal is conversion, target intent. And intent is beyond demographic. Intent is not something that Sujit or somebody 20-year-old male living in tier 1 town and has a bike. That's demographic. Demographic definitions are dying because people are not behaving in a particular fashion or a manner. I just put an example. It's a US example, but look at the number. Here data from Google. 56% of sporting goods are searched by women. If we define, it will definitely be male, right? We'll say that we want to target male. Don't go by things. Go by intent. Intent data is available readily. You can go to Google Trends and look for it, right? Like 68% of skin and body care influencers are men. They are showing that people are acting differently. People have mobile phone in front of them. People are actively searching. People are actively researching. So that brings to something that if you're only focusing on demographics, you are missing on 70% of your potential shoppers. And this data comes from Google. You shouldn't be missing on 70% of data. Demographic is just the gut feel. It's not exactly the targeting parameter anymore. I'll give you another example. Right? Again from Google. Google is going very high on what they're calling it as a micro moment. Because micro moment happens because thanks to mobile, people are searching, right? I want a coffee in MG Road. They're playing with the kid and they're searching. Can I go to a movie in the afternoon? So those micro moments are such a trigger, and they give you so much of insight into a person's mind and persona. They're really important. You have to look for intent. You have to make sure that you're capturing the right insight at the right point in time. Otherwise, strategy is not going to help you if you don't have the right insight in place. So how do we, this is the Google example, right? The moments when we turn to a device, often a smartphone, because that's the primary device nowadays, to take action on whatever we need or want right now. I want to know, I want to go, I want to buy, I want to do moments. They're loaded with intent, context, and immediacy. They need is like immediate. I want to buy a movie ticket. I need a coffee now. I need a cab ride now. The immediacy is like we have gone so much of impatient. We are triggering things without knowing, and these triggers form intent. Right? Any questions till now? I told you the strategy framework here.
Demographics page you have shown me.
Yeah.
And the previous one. Like you said, like 70% of the potential people will be like.
There is a chances of losing 70% of the people in digital space.
So if you go through demographic thoughts.
You will go only by demographic.
No, what I'm saying is like if it is a kitchen appliance and if we only choose demographic as like housewife,
Mm-hmm.
will be losing customers or not?
You might be losing customers.
Yeah.
I'll give you my example. My wife was working and she works in a government PSU. She didn't have much of a time. So I used to help her decide on the color, scheme of things. You know, you should go with Haffel or Hettich, or you should go with this. So I was the influencer.
So here I would like to add up to this point also. Naveen, on this is, last time I attended a research presentation at HSL on the same point, that who is the decision maker. The research presented as women, where I disagreed, saying that it is not women who will take the decision. Please get the facts clear, because it was just run randomly, and they said it is a woman who decides. The woman decides what she wants. This is what we understood, and we debated on the research presentation. But which brand to buy? What is the comparison? What are the colors, schemes, and everything? It is predominantly the man who decides, is what we had said, and we asked them to do the research again. So what we assume, saying that okay, a sari may be only woman's choice, probably the color may be a man's choice. You never know unless until we go deep into this. I buy into this point, is because we are living in an assumption world, and the technology is going so fast that we are not even able to feel the changes that are happening in people's behavior. Here, like Sujit rightly pointed out, it is the Google Trends where you will have to be following up on a regular basis. Is to know you never know how the trend changed. What my mom used to do is history. What my wife is doing is also history. Today, who is influencing in buying a car and other things? What we used to talk earlier, it is the kids who influence parents to buy a car. May be true or may not be true today. It was just 4 years back or 5 years back. It was true.
So that we can't say to any clients that we always rely on demographics, right?
Based on
So we are talking digital. In digital platform, what he is trying to make a point very clearly is, don't just rely on demographics. Look at the trends, because
the
the
data
trends
is
is
available.
changing.
Because the data is available. If the data is not available, go with the assumption, right? But the data is available, you know, if ignoring it will be a crime, because it's right in front of you.
Just to add to this point of what he is talking about, is that we used to do a lot of outdoor selling, hoardings and other things. How was hoarding evaluated? Now either the marketing head felt that the traffic is good, or he was going home every day on that direction. He thought that I can see it, I can monitor it. Number one. Number two, this is the main road. There is always traffic jam. A lot of people will stop and see the hoarding. Now today there are many tools for them to distract. Now it may not work the way it used to work. The minute I get stuck in a traffic jam, I'm just giving my own example, I will see if there is any emergency message. I will just get on to my phone, and I get engaged with various things that happens. So I may miss out on a primary hoarding itself. So the thumb rule which used to happen earlier may not be relevantly true today, because of the evolving buying behavior or evolving consumer.
Change on, keep on changing.
Continuously changing on a day-to-day basis.
True. Yeah. So coming to strategy at work. So this is a case study that I would want to present to you guys. This is for a B2B customer that we did. So the challenge here was they created a new content hub aimed at IT deals with IT decision makers and business decision makers. And at the same time, they wanted to combat the low-cost solution provider in the market, right? So there are two problems, right? A new content hub which is not known in the market, so no organic traffic at all. And at the same time, they want to combat the low-cost solution providers. So what we thought of and what we did, I just put a strategy in one slide. I'm not trying complicating it. So we thought, okay, we'll go with thought leadership. We'll give them free content, free premium content. So content which is not available generally. We'll make them in a very snackable format. Because when it comes to B2B content, they're very boring. They're like 7-8 pages of just English written. Nobody reads to it. So we made them into snackable content. We make them into factoids. Like it's a 72% of energy saving through this brand. It's just a a number, but it comes in a very interesting graphic. This is called factoids. So we worked on those factoids. We worked on day and time targeting, because this is really important. When you are doing a digital campaign, you shouldn't be wasting your impression on somebody who is not even looking at your ad. So we figured out, we did a lot of A and B testing. We figured out what time targeting works, what day targeting works, right? And basis that we optimized the campaign. we worked on audience segmentation, and we really worked on hard on the tracking to figure out the journey. The journey is correct or not. People who are bouncing, how are we getting them back? What kind of retargeting campaigns are we running? Are we running dynamic creatives? Are we showing them same ad again? Because somebody who is bounced back from my website, I shouldn't be showing him the same ad again. I should be showing him a different ad to get him back to my website, a different content maybe which he might be interested in. So we did that. We optimize the efficiency to deliver on the ROI, because when it comes to B2B, it's not about awareness. It has to be on the numbers, it has to be on the sales closure, it has to be on the funnel that is generated. So we made sure we are delivering on the ROI. In terms of the tactics, if you want to detail out the tactics, we did display, we did mobile, we did content syndication, we did emailer campaign, and we did performance marketing and retargeting. So that were the tactics that we deployed, and this is how the strategy framework looked like.
You see, one more thing is optimize the efficiency in delivering of ROI. How do you get that in terms of how do you optimize it?
Okay, so what happens? People who are filling up the form, right? What is the engagement? What is the end result you're looking at? You're looking at form fills. If you're looking at people, calling up, then give them, track it. Basically, track it with a unique code so that you know that the call is coming from this campaign. Then you factor in over week on week. So we see the results week on week. We see that this week some 70 people have filled up the form. Out of the 70 people, when an EDM went out to those 70 people, 30 people have responded. And these 30 people have been called upon. 20 people have shown interest. Right? So sales opportunity has opened over there. So I see 20 people called upon and 20 opportunity generated out of 70 people, and a funnel of $1 million has been generated. I'm just throwing a number as an example. So this gives me a number, handy number to figure out if the ROI calculation is working or not. Whenever we are planning the campaign, we sit with the client and discuss what is the kind of ROI he is expecting. Most of the B2B companies I have seen they either work on 1:20 or 1:30. So if they invest $1, they would want $20 in return. If they invest $1, they would want $30 in return. So we figure that out and we chart it out. We have cadence call every week to check on the campaign health, how the campaign is performing. This week, this has performed. This week, this has not performed. Should we change the tactic? Should we move the money out and do the next tactic? So all this optimization keeps happening, because we have invested at our company. We have invested a lot in tools. But what I also mean by tools is, the client has a direct reporting mechanism. He can see real time what is happening with the campaign. He just clicks on it and the data and chart populates in front of him. So he gets to see the numbers are converting, what is happening to the sales funnel, is it moving to Eloqua?
Is it dynamic one?
It's dynamic.
It's dynamic, okay.
It's dynamic. So it's happening real time. A client just needs to click and see, okay, last week there were some 20 leads which came in, this week it's just 10. Something is going wrong. Are we doing right? Are we doing something wrong? Something is not working? Was there other external factor? Was there a 2-day holiday? So we prepare a complete, very exhaustive report. On top of that, the live dashboard that he is able to see. Because they're all numbers, right? Numbers have to be comprehended in a particular way to tell a good story. So that's what we do. So this campaign in discussion resulted into 124% of engagement goals. And by engagement, I mean responses, leads, content view through. So these were the goals.
Not only the people who filled the application.
Fill the form that we had the goal of 1:30. That was really good. But on the engagement, because we're not just looking at people who will buy the product. Because in what happens in B2B, the sales cycles are generally 6 to 8 months long. Right? So not everybody is ready to buy. And if somebody is not buying, we're not going to leave them. We're going to put them in the nurture funnel and keep nurturing. That is equally important, because somebody who is not buying today may buy after 8 months. So that opportunity may.
So how do you manage the nurture funnel?
So nurture clients have like Eloqua, they have different CRM tools, Salesforce.
Okay.
So we connected.
Okay.
So we connected and get the report from the client side.
Okay.
Yeah, so this was the case study. I'm open to questions now.
And I always believe in this, that when you ask people to do a form and other things, most of them disengage. Say that, then they will start. See, I personally also feel the minute you start filling a form, if your intent is not very clear, yes, no problem. Because there are too many junk mails that comes in, there are too many follow-up calls, there are too many things. So I believe personally that people may not be very keen about
Filling up the form.
filling up the form and giving their data.
So they are giving the data. People, in B2B environment, what happens is they are researching, right? People in the IT organization, they have a role of researching. They have a role of researching and getting good content to their company. That is one of the roles.
I'll just give you a minute. Huh?
Yes, sir.
Suresh would like to take lead. He has got some.
Thank you so much.
Nice meeting you. Suresh, thanks a lot.
Thank
for
you.
accepting this.
Thank you.
We also hear from you more and more.
I will.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sir, we'll talk to you now. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. So
No, I was talking about,
filling of the form.
filling up the form is something, where I feel that, I don't know, I may be totally wrong. I feel, okay, now in a B2B scenario, it may be very good, but does it really
No, it's
also
not
work?
good.
Huh?
It's not good. 40% of the form fills are still junk in B2B environment. No, but at the same time, there is no other mechanism of capturing somebody's response, right? Digital is not digital will not give you a classified information. It will not tell you that this guy is Sujit. It will tell you he's a this kind of a guy.
Is there any other way we can map these guys to come to our website?
You can drop cookies. You can drop cookies and keep following them, but you'll not be able to get their personal data until they fill up the form. And that's by rule actually. Even if you're able to capture, it's not ethical to capture until unless they give you the consent. So consent can only come through forms, and it's across. Whether you look at mature market, you look at emerging market, or you look at still developing market, consent only comes through form. 40% of data you can still, people are looking at content. This content looks good. They'll fill XYZ, XYZ, or XYZ.com. They can still do that. But when you're giving them a premium content, right? Like Symantec comes out with a report, which is annual security report, which is sought after. People want to read that kind of a report to understand what kind of security threats are going to come up. Because enterprises wants to know that, okay, this kind of security threats might come up. So many security hacks happened last year. So many things. People fill up the form because there is no other way you can get that report.
Which one is that?
Semantics,
Semantics.
annual security report, ASR. So a lot of companies come out with this annual report. People tie up with, say, Gartner, people tie up with Forrester, these guys like, Sai, they create custom content. Those contents are so premium that there is no other way apart from if you're really hungry for content. And in IT organization, in enterprise, people are given mandate to research about the product and the solution. Right? The CIO, the IT manager minus one. So their role only is to research and figure out what solution can enterprise bring into their system to go to the next level. So I'm talking about more from the B2B environment, but yeah.
And B2C?
B2C, like you said, like most of it is going to be junk
Yeah.
when it comes to form fill. There are different triggers that you have to employ and deploy. Form fills is definitely gives you a direct lead. Give them a kind of hook to catch up on. It could be a quiz, it could be a contest, it could be a offer, it could be a engagement in different form. You have to really look at the product and the category you are targeting, and basis that then get them to respond and engage like Suresh was talking about, right? Once they engage with you, right, then you can get their details, because even if they're not converting online, they'll convert offline. Right? Google came out with a report some year back that research online, buy offline. They were calling it robo or something like that. They're doing it. People are still not comfortable buying refrigerators online. Most of the people. So they will research online and go to the Giria or somebody somewhere where they are direct relationship and buy the product online.
Yeah.
So even if the people are not filling up the form, consumer, then there are chances they will go and buy the product.
No, because you rightly said that, especially this textile industry had this issue. Who's going to buy clothes online? Because they have to see, they have to feel, they have to try, test, and other things. But they found a solution that you try it, if you don't like it, send it back.
Try it, yeah.
So there may be solutions that can come in
Yeah.
as we go by. Because I see real estate going down badly in terms of the office space. Forget about office space, the retail space, especially the Girias and other people whom I am seeing, watching from last 4-5 years, are now becoming more of a packing agents for the online agencies rather than becoming direct selling.
Yeah. Things are changing fast. Things will move to online gradually, and they are moving online. But you have to pick the right trigger at the right time. Like, buy it, try it, try and buy it. Could be something that could be a hook.
Yeah.
And for the lead form challenge, for the B2C especially, one example I can give you is Bank Bazaar. So lead form is typically a boring thing, one by one leads is there. What Bank Bazaar has done, it has given graphics. So you want a loan, put your salary, it will show you how much loan you want, you just slide it. You are engaging with the audience. So this guy will not feel like ये boring वाला lead है or they'll call me back, but he wants to know how much loan he is going to get for his salary. So curiosity they are developing. That's how they have increased. So you have to look for that innovative approach. So by another, their lead form is the way you get the leads. There's no other way right now.
Yeah. Any other questions? Yes, that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Thanks a lot. Pleasure. Okay, Sai.
I get it,
Take on.
Because of the cookies.
Very interesting subject that everybody has spoken and parked it on Sai's shoulders now. Sai is going to talk about content and how content can change the world. Now every presenter has spoken only about content and rest have looked at as tools. So we look forward to hear more from you. You've sent me more about your company profile rather than your profile, so I would leave it for you to
Just
introduce yourself.
Yeah. So I am not as big as the profile for audience here, so that's why I don't want to share that also.
No.
But let me give you a brief about what I am. And I started as a salesperson, and I am a salesperson now too. So after my MBA, the first thing came into my mind was, where do I go and settle? So you always have that decision making. So you go to finance, you go to, because I have done multiple specialization MBA, so I can go anywhere. So, but end of the day, sales was something which was in my mind, and I started off with events sales, and then moved to digital. I was in the ad sales, and now I am in the content sales. So one thing common in all these three segments is a salesperson will have more knowledge about things happening in the market, because he's always in a lookout. So I want to convince the client. I need some tools to convince the client. Either it's statistics, research, or your plain ability to convince the customer. But one thing I realized, and why I have taken the part to content is, in each and every responsibility I held, content played an important role. So one challenge when I was doing events marketing. So events, typical, there will be a convention center where there will be booths and there will be conference happening. The objective of the person or company who is there in this booth is to attract more people inside. So typically what you see in events in Bangalore is they put the name of the company, they put their banners, company product banners, product specific, and they'll expect people to come and inquire. Typically that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Though it is a content what they're showing, but that's not a engaging content. That's not what is the interest of the people. So like when the years moved on, so companies thought an innovative way, let's create a game. Let's say the profile of the audience are startup founders. So you start with a small quiz game and give a goodie. So that way you're engaging the audience. So once he's engaged, and then you have the better chance of explaining services than blatantly going and saying, hey, I am from this company, I sell this. And when it comes to the digital part of it, when I used to sell ads, so many times ads, as a publisher I used to sell. So when it boils down, the clicks and the conversions matter. So many times what happens is, the banner would be a blatant product banner. See, we are so and so TV brand, I want to sell this TV, so this is the features, buy it. So the conversion ratios are very less. So for every 1 million clicks, there's like 2,000 conversions. So that's very small. And brands kind of didn't bother also. So they are happy with what they are, because digital is more productive than what they're getting in offline. But once the industry started evolving, digital as industry, people started understanding engagement is something very important. Even though you are doing advertisement or SEO, SEM, what they have tested and proven is once the audience is engaged, the conversion ratio has drastically dropped. Let's say there is a 1% conversion for a regular banner. If the same banner is somewhat engaging or making the user think that this is not a product which is trying to sell, but is trying to help me, is talking in my language. This is my challenge, and this brand is talking in this language. So that connect happens, the journey is half done. So the leads come in at a very quicker pace, and the quality of the leads. So leads are not the end of the point, the sales will happen. And that's how I thought content is.
There is a clear-cut instruction. During ad time, you cannot change. During the morning, you can change.
There might be exceptions.
No, I am from ad industry, so for me, it is more important to see who's talking.
And nowadays, ads are repetitive.
Yeah.
So you also, at a point of time, you don't want to listen to it. It becomes redundant in your mind.
No, I have to accept the fact that nowadays the remote is not in my hand. I can't control it.
So when it comes to content marketing, can you read the text out there?
The smaller ones I can't read, only the headlines.
Okay, so let's talk about the interruptive. So there are three fatal flaws. So only holds attention for a small period of time. It's not a long-term attention grabbing thing, and interrupts instead of educating. So and tends to be expensive, obviously. So and when it comes to the content marketing part of it, so the advantages are the value creation for the clients. So when I say content can be anything. So the current presentation is a content to the people who are listening to the other side of YouTube. So making sense. So here many things come into picture. So first you need to understand who is your target audience, and then establish what are the challenges. So gone are the days where you have a product, you write some content about your product and show it. It's not a content anyways. It's called as a content, but it's not an engaging content. Engaging content is, you know your product, who are your target audience, you identify the behaviors. So what is the behavior, how do they think, what do they require? So let's say youngsters are the guys. So you talk in their language, and don't talk about your product. Your product is there. They know that your product is there. But talk about what are the challenges and how your product is going to help them in challenges. Let's say smartphones or something. So selfies are like 2 years back, selfie has become a big thing. Earlier there's no camera on the phone. So now everything which is talked to, if you see the ads recently, everything is selfies. Oppo is there, they only talk about selfies. So because their audience thinks in that way, that's why they have to talk. They could talk about so many things. We have a big battery, this thing, that thing. But selfie is the thing because that's the trending topic.
So, in fact, sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
Sujit, have you seen this new ad of Lace?
No, not really.
What is that? Pout?
Pout is something you keep like a pig mode.
Yeah, I think before we end this session, I want you guys to see that ad.
Yeah, I saw that.
The way they have taken the consumer insight and brought in the product is one of the amazing thing which a marketing insight or a consumer insight and connecting the product is something I've seen in the recent time. Beautifully done. Beautifully done, because he spoke about selfie and proud now. So
the brands are moving into that direction.
yeah.
Gone are the days your product features will sell the product. No, you need to understand the audience. What Sujit said, the intent. So the intent is very dynamic in nature. So intent of you is different from intent from me, but the same product you both require. So getting into that is a lengthy process. So typically, if I go to any brand and say, do you do content marketing? This is they do. Show me. They'll show the website. This is the content. I can't say anything because it's a content. But what is the use of the content? So one example I'll give you. Major of the Indian FMCG brands. If you go to the web page, what do you see? You see their products, buy now, buy now, buy now, buy now, buy now. 10 buy nows. The same thing, you go to a US food FMCG brand. On the first page, there is no buy now. And there is no mention of their products. They're just talking about the current trends in food industry. So recipes, they'll talk about the new flavors, what you can create. So they're little, what do you say, educated market when it comes to content and digital. But we are, as Sujit said, we are in the old mentality that women will be always the buyers of household items. But that's not the case. You and me know because we are marketers, we know the industry. But when you go to the client doesn't want to take the drastic step of changing his entire marketing approach. That's the challenge right now. So I'll just quickly move on to the next slide. Why content marketing? It's 62% less than the traditional traditional marketing, and it gives you 3 times many leads. So many times there's a disconnect. People think content marketing doesn't help in leads, but that's not the case. Because whenever you do a strategic approach, the quality of the content is the buying point for a. So I'll show you one example later on, so I can correlate there.
So here in this slide you have mentioned content marketing costs 62% less than the traditional. In what terms of cost value we are talking about?
The cost for creating your own content. So traditional marketing, let's say TV ad, you know right now how much they charge for a 10-second slot. So the same money we can develop like 3-4 pieces of content, diverse.
So compared to the media cost,
yeah,
of other conventional media you're talking about.
Yes. I'll move on to the next one. So this is one infographic. So 70% of the consumers feel that brands who talk in terms of content, they feel close to those brands, rather than brands who just talk about the products. So this is typically what brands need in terms of content and what brands lack. So let's go to the why brands need. So brands always think like, I have created the content, now what to do? So because they lack the expertise, they always the question like, what to do next with the content? Creation of content is one thing, what is the next step? How do we use it? How do we make it help us in bringing the sales? This is the disconnect which happens. And context creation, as Sujit said, context creation plays a very important role in this scenario, the current market scenario. Context is something, let's say, a brand like Acer, which is a laptop brand, talking about digital transformation, digital India. So there is no direct relevance, but there is a context. Narendra Modi is there in power, and his thought process is about digitalization of India. And if a brand is talking in the language where the news is also trending the same, so it grabs the attention. People gets engaged to it. So there are many trending topics. Thanks to the news channels nowadays, we have 50 trending topics every day. And brands can make use of each and every trending topic. I'll show you a few examples in the next slide. And sourcing of content. So typically content marketing is creating content is what is the mindset in the brands right now. But there is beautiful content already there in the market where brands can make use of it. So we as a company have a good effort in sourcing of content as well as creation, because always creating content is an expensive affair, and content marketing is not a one-time investment. It's a lengthy investment. You need to continuously and consistently put in efforts and money to get the results what you typically get. So sometimes making use of the content is, let's say a brand like Dell can make use of one of the article which is on Economic Times, which is talking about Dell only. It's a PR article, but it wants to engage the users using that article. So they'll share that link to their social platforms. Hey, we are featured in this. So the social audience who might have missed there are going through this and they'll read the article. And it's talking about how Delhi is going to impact the next 2 years of Indian digital transformation. So they are creating value for the already existing content and giving a brand relevance. So they'll contextually target their banners. So people would who click there are more susceptible to listen to what Dell says than if a blatant regular Dell banner is there. So the clicks happens, the quality is not the same as what you get. And continuous engagement, as I said. There are companies who are very focused on content marketing right now. Every day they create 3 to 4 content pieces. So they are kind of companies who are evolved in content marketing. They are the companies who has big teams. I'm not saying that is how we should do. Because of already existing content available, brands can easily make use of. So like what Suresh told, so there are some FAQs. You just get the data and you present it as a content, meaningful content to the audience. That makes sense. See, only thing is change the mindset of the consumer. This brand is not trying to sell me. So that selling part is out of his mind, then he is in a situation to listen to what you're talking.
So basically you're saying be a thought leader, don't just
Be a thought leader.
don't just
No matter B2C or B2B. That's how the brand should look at.
being a thought leader through various content,
Yes.
plugging in available content and creating fresh content.
Exactly. So this is what Gartner is saying about content. Why content? And see, social and search marketing in particular are the content hungry disciplines. So I was telling Suresh also, you have covered half of my job because everything is very close to content. So digital content is everywhere.
Now everybody spoke about content,
Yes.
except Sandeep. He spoke only about cash.
The second point, you see, it's a daily discipline that requires substantial investments. So this is the risk many brands don't want to take. So the typical mindset of Indian brands is, I have been doing from last 20 years, it's working. Why do you want me to change? You show me the result and then I'll change.
I mentioned to you about that.
Yeah.
It's an old school of thought.
Old school of it's very difficult. That's the challenge we are in. But marketers like us are the only people who can change that thought. So using content we can do. So content can be a very effective tool to showcase how a change can be brought in the marketing strategy.
I'm very happy. My friend from ASM is also here, where my technical director was screaming at the top of his lungs that content is important, but unfortunately it didn't happen. So something you have to take back to the whole team and say that what we are talking about is today content.
Yeah.
People won't believe us if we don't have the right content.
And there are few tips to keep content engaging. So keep it moving. So big lengthy content, big data or tables are boring.
Yeah.
Nowadays, irrespective of whom you're targeting, CXO or CIO, they don't have time. Because they don't have time because of the official work or their personal interest.
So we are in a world of short attention span. I've been talking
30
about
seconds.
this.
30
I've been
seconds
talking
is
about
the-
this for a long time.
Yeah.
When we started advertising, all the ads that we used to do were, so you can also agree with me, was 60 seconds and then edit it to 45 seconds, 30 seconds. Then 30 seconds was big. Once I went to one very renowned musician who's a very renowned singer, and I asked him, sir, I want your jingle to be done for 30 seconds. He threw the paper on my face. He said, 30 seconds, what are you talking? I can't even take my raga. 30 seconds is nothing foolish. But I got him to do it. Today we are talking about gone in 7 seconds or 5 seconds. The minute 5 seconds, we will say skip the ad will come, and we skip the ad and we move forward.
YouTube.
And look at the challenge the advertising and the creative guys have got is to tell a story in 5 seconds, to hook it. No, I totally agree with you that's why our cricket is 20 overs. It will shortly be coming for 10 overs. It started you end.
And second point is tell a story.
Yeah. Last presentation, Prasad.
No, that is irrelevant.
So second point is telling a story. So we all are human beings. We all like stories. From childhood, we have been very interestingly listening to your mom's stories, your dad's stories, then your girlfriend stories, then your company stories. So stories are everywhere. So how you storify your content? A brand is there, its objective is there, it's always there. It never goes. But how you approach, how innovatively you approach. I'll show you some examples of storifying a content, some videos or the interactive videos which you will. And know your audience. So this is very, very, very crucial. And when I say audience, don't think of an entire universal set of audience. Let's say, give an example of, we're talking about Hindware. So audience is not a single pool. Audience differ from where you're reaching them and what time you're reaching them and what is their thought process at that time when you're reaching them. So your content should be in that tonality. Tonality plays an important role there. Many of the times brands put a lot of efforts in putting content strategy. They create a content, let's say an article, just not directly talking about the product but about the services, and they try to push it everywhere. I have created content, I want to push it everywhere, but that's not a wrong approach because we are not in a uniform society. The outputs where the consumers read differs. So in B2B, I can give you an example. Economic Times, what the tonality of the content there is different from what the tonality is there in Mashable.com. So we have to follow that. And it should not be very obvious that this is a content sponsorship. So many times, what happens is, by the time you read the first two lines, you get it. Someone is trying to sell you. It should not be there. There should be a blend in at the end that the brand connect should happen. So you should be very careful there. And this is pinpointing some common challenges and throwing out some statistics, predictions. These are the things which are helping the user. So these predictions can be used by the consumer to tell his friends, or he may be in the same industry, he can use them and present. But end of the mind, his callback is, this brand tried to help me getting this data. And I would, when I take a decision that obviously will going to take an effect, I will choose the brand. So this is taxonomy. So this is one approach what we focus on. So the definition of taxonomy is breaking down into simpler pieces. So one example I will give you is Hero Bikes. This is a brand. So many times brands want to do content, they don't know what to do content. When Hero started first to talk about content, this is what they will talk about. Typically bikes. What are bikes? What are the comparisons, reviews and all. But using our system, we can give you a huge segments of topics where the brand can talk about. Let's say bike racing. It's one of the most trending, and Bangalore has become a capital for bike racing. The amount of super bikes there in Bangalore are enormous. Me being a biker, I know that. And you can talk about bike. Yeah. And there are topicals, festivals you can talk about. You can talk about important days, special occasions, and bring your brand connect. And you can talk about lineage, then and now. Motorcycles 50 years back and now. What are the technologies? And what is going to be the next 50 years? So you're playing the role of thought leader, then trying to sell your bike with your CC or your features or anything. And then destinations. You're talking about travel destinations. 10 best places to visit from Bangalore on your bike within 200 kilometers. That content is everywhere nowadays. Yeah. Brands are using it. And this content is typically developed by publishers, not brands. Why? Because publishers know the pulse of the audience. Yeah. They know what they require. And publishers make money because of that pulse. They create the traffic. They sell it to the brands. But brands can also do the same thing. Just little effort is needed. And help of companies like ours. And we'll go to travel. So what are the travel? Everything can be correlated. Culture, food, heritage, history. So Leh Ladakh is one place where there's a lot of culture and motorcycles mixed together. You can talk about that place. And this is what, second example I'll give you is a tech product, Acer. So Acer typically talks about technology reviews, tips and how to use and all. Typically you do. But it can also talk about photography. So selfies, tips. It has phones also, right? Acer has phones. So, and Acer can also talk about its own brand, its products, Acer News, product launch. That's also content. It can also talk about lifestyle, high-end living, aspirational. They have so much connected devices right now in homes. Smart homes they call it. They can talk about that. They can talk about productivity, time management. Using your laptops, you can do all those things. And you can do popular culture, celebrities, movies, celeb looks. I think Acer is already doing with Anushka Sharma in this lines. And career technology. So this is one segment of it. And this is trending conversations. As I told you, there are a lot of things which are trending in the market. You just need to just pick it up. No need to work hard on that. Just pick it up, contextually you marry your brand to that and disperse the content. Many of us have seen this. Smog is one of the trending topic, and till now it is still trending in cities like Delhi. And Bangalore is shortly going to be there.
Velandur Lake. Velandur Lake is the biggest topic.
There should be a word which should be invented for that, and it
I
becomes.
think there is something, no? Hashtag
Froth.
something like that is there already. For Velandur Lake, there is something.
Yeah.
And
So
steel flavor.
when this topic was trending, no brand used it. Recently, now we are seeing some air purifiers using the context of it. So how you can use? Enterprises can use that. They can talk about how smart cities can help in monitoring and reducing that. How pharma companies, how doctors can talk about how to prevent smoke inhalation. If you are inhaled, how to keep yourself better.
Perfect.
How consumer durables. So how to purify the air you breathe at.
Perfect.
Not typically a air purifier, but an electronic equipment brand also can use
Yeah,
it.
air conditioning to everything.
And this is some little bit funny topic. So water on Mars. Even if today if you go and search the technology news, the astronomical news, there is talk about water on Mars.
It's nice one.
It's been a long, continuous trending topic. So many brands doesn't get the connect, but it doesn't always needs to be your brand should always marry that brand. But make some sense. Talk about the trending topic. Just be funny. So here water. So water brands like Aqua and all, they can talk like this. We are on Mars already. Know about this. So they're saying what there is Mars. We are also there on Mars. And foods. So upset stomach, now Eno on Mars. Eno can make use of that kind of a trending combination. And auto, negotiate any kind of terrain for now on Earth. So they're saying in Mars kind of terrain also we are getting ready to that, giving that service. And the next segment of it is called a content calendar. So when we work with brands for longer duration, we create this content calendar. There are some days which come, Mother's Day, Father's Day, and there are some days we don't know also. Celebrate his birthdays, this thing. One example I'll give, I'll not take much.
No, subject
It is coming in April, Kangana Ranaut's birthday. So how a brand can make use of it? So there is no permission you need to take to use this content. You know it's a public known fact. And she is known for her attitude, her boldness and all. So a brand like Soch can go and talk about her birthday. 10 known facts about Kangana, 10 unknown facts about Kangana's behavior, which makes conversation trendy. And this is one small video of how beautifully you can marry a brand to. So this is for TVS Vigo. We are working with them for so many videos. This is one video. This is for Makar Sankranti. So typically not many brands use Makar Sankranti as a big day. Diwali and Dasara and all are big. But Makar Sankranti is very less used topic. So they made use of it. And kite flying is something which is very famous. So they wanted to take that approach and be a thought leader and slowly marry the brand. You're able to hear. And this video doesn't have audio because many of the times with Facebook, audio is muted. And you don't want to miss out on the audience who are not listening to this. It has some text also. Once the interest is created, they'll click on it and the audio starts. They're also educating how to make kites. This generation people don't do now nowadays. If you observe, there is no brand connect till now. It's just an informative video. No slow connect. And the objective of the campaign is where cars cannot go, our Vigo can go. So it's taken in the old Delhi streets, where typically this kite flying happens, and that's how they create. And there is a next video of the same brand. This is for Valentine's Day, and this. Sorry.
शाम से हमारी चाय कुछ ठंडी पड़ गई है शायद इस गर्मी को बढ़ जाए तो हमारी आदत बढ़े ऐसे रोज लेक्चर कवर जाके अपना दोस्त भूल जाते हैं रोज दुनिया जान की बातें लेकर घर आती है हर मोहब्बत आने वाली होती है मेरा मोबाइल मेरा फेवरेट टी शर्ट चीजें ना मेरे इस पर बिल्कुल पसंद है हमारा पूरा वार्डरोब आजकल मेरे चेयर पे शिफ्ट हो गया अब ये सारी आदतें पूरा मॉल के जैसा
So, if you have observed one thing, this is talking about a living couple, and this is the audience they're targeting, young guys. Now, living couple is a common thing now. Once upon a time, it was very taboo kind of thing. So, the brand is talking in the language of the things what you are actually doing it. So, this creates a connect, and they're talking about how the love between two people has slowly come down, and how this girl proposes. It's a very intimate connection, and they bring in Vigo brand. So the brand doesn't want people to buy Vigo looking at this, but this is going to play a vital role when the decision is making. And decision making for a two-wheeler is not a one-day thing; it's a long thing, and more male and female take a decision. And creating this kind of impressions, engaging the content, and this will be shared with your better half. Let's say you have a lover or a girlfriend. You share it, or you know a friend who has a lover, you share it. It will be a sweet feeling. So that's how you create conversations. And this slide is going to talk about what we do and what scatter is all about. I think we're going to close after this. So at Scatter, to give an overview of what we do, we help in strategies, we help in sourcing of the content, creation of the content, distribution of the content, performance, to test the performance of the content, do the optimization of the content. It's a 360-degree tool what we have. So we are a tech company plus a service company. We started as a tech company because service is something which is needed, because content is not very well sought out topic. So we need to give a helping hand to the brands. So tool itself is not enough, is what we understood. So it's sometime there in the market to get to that level. So I want to show you some interesting
So
websites.
here, 1 second, sir.
Yeah.
You also manage digital assets?
Can you use this
You say there is a mention saying that you also manage digital assets
for the content piece?
for the content.
Yeah. Not the advertising.
So typically, like what we are getting into an understanding and what we are getting into a partnership is that the requirement for my customers, content will be provided by you.
Yeah.
We will give the direction, we'll give you what has to be done, we'll brainstorm with your team, put across a strategy in place, and we do it.
That's one way. So I don't know why it got switched off. There are some websites around.
You just connect it now.
So all of you know about this website called Tomorrow Makers. Have anyone has gone through it? No, right? So this website is owned by Aegon.
Last time
You told me.
Yeah. So this is the direction brands are going into. So this website is completely content. These are two banners, that's it. Apart from this, you will not know this is about Aegon. If you just scroll down, there are topics about how to de-jargonize insurance, how to finance yourself. Finance is not a old people's cup of tea. It's for the youngsters. So they create this engaging content. We create for them. This entire site is being handled by us. And 2 years, it has done wonders. Now this web page gives 1 million page views per month. And they are generating revenue through the banners. They don't directly put the competition banners, life insurance, but they do home insurance and personal insurance. And they also sell the leads. They are very qualitative leads which come in. So let's say a person is thinking about home loan and he wants to know more, he just clicks on know more and the lead is captured. That can be shared to the home loan partner who is there. They are generating revenue as well as they are in the thought leadership status. There are a couple of more videos. I think. There is something called influencer targeting, influencer marketing. Has anyone heard about it?